Gonna start with control because it's nice and simple. It's a short set. It's 4 games. Asking for help about Mixmaster stuff. Yada yada yada. Where's this one? Not asking for anything in particular. Sounds like it was a bit of a scrambly set. Pinwheel kind of struggles and scrambles in general because her buttons are depressingly slow. But well, I'll see what I can find. And if anything else, I can also bother Softy, ask questions for how they like to go about it. Oh wait, did we play the Fortune team for this whole thing? Oh, okay. We're adding the cat on. Nice, 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 nice. If that's the case, I will check real quickly just to make sure I remember what debug keys are before we just jump into everything. So let's pause. That's slow-mo, that's speed up. And then let's frame by frame. That's just completely pause on pause. Frame by frame, frame by frame, frame by frame. This speeds it up to slow-mo. That goes all the way. Okay. So, I don't know how much you know about Razorker. I haven't played them personally, but I can tell you they're a solid player. They are very mash heavy. And obviously you've probably picked up on some of that throughout these games, but talking around with people about players they like, don't like playing against, yada yada, sometimes you can hear down the grapevine sort of what to expect. But how are you playing this matchup? Patient. We're in. Drop. Take the Fortune as stole. Pretty new. So there's a couple things here. When you have an assist in front of you, bikes isn't a threat, period. So I don't really have that much time this evening, at least. I've got a good chunk of backlog already, but I mean, you can throw it in for a future set if you'd like. But whatchamacallit, here, 2 layers to it. One, if you see like your assist wanting to block bikes for you, it's just a good thing to kind of start thinking about, because you don't have to respect it at all. Once the bike gets a single hit, it's out. And other than that, you were not put in much of a block string here either, because once again you're assist bodyguarded. So here you can just start holding up forward, double jump, air dash, land with jump heavy punch or jump heavy kick, and you should get a heavy counter hit. Just didn't need to respect that. A little bit of knowledge. I know this is the purpose of the team here. I don't care how much life. Especially with how confident you are in your fortune routing. Probably this is the right choice. A thing to be thinking about here is, although this is like spend and murder is the name of the game for this team, you could also try and be greedy and give your Pinwheel more time to heal. So you're killing a character, but you're spending 2 bar and half a life bar to do so. So kind of scary. But this character is dead. Uber dead. But it's like you spend the bar for install and then she's out. Because install's done. Scared of pressing things. Holding them pretty good in the corner. We called an assist and backed off. This assist doesn't do much for us, and Bella isn't really a full screen character. I know you're like thinking a little bit more. It's yeah. Stuff is happening, buttons are being pressed, but trying to think of holding your ground, especially for Bella. You did a good job fighting back for it and getting the corner again. But with Bella, you want to force the interactions and then just notice their habits and check them afterwards. Unfortunate drop. Punish. Nice. Go for one bar. Bella mirror, a little bit of Connery. Calling assist, hitting them low. They're just cashing out. It just works. They're dead, aren't they? Unfortunate drop, but commanding lead of this game. I would, like, I know it's not fun in any way, shape, or form, but the way to, like, guarantee you win that game is to just say, I'm Painwheel, you're Bella, you literally cannot approach me and fly away. It's boring, but it's like the surefire way to just say GG, shake my hand. Approaching will always have some inherent risk, but you basically ran away with that game, no matter what you did. Okay, dash under, didn't leave. Yep, okay. So, here, I don't mind you going into this route. This route is fine. Well, stand heavy kick. Stand heavy kick is a really good thing to stabilize happy birthday combos. The thing I'd recommend you start trying to think about when you're doing this, just in general for fortune routes, but especially for happy birthday routes with stand heavy kick, try and cancel into fiber after the second hit, not the third hit of stand heavy kick. And what that does is, because the second hit is a vacuum inwards, it pulls them both in and makes it so much harder for your fiber to whiff on one of the characters. I was really scared it was going to happen here. And honestly here, I don't know if you have the default, like, basic Fortune BNB, but it's really, really good for these happy birthday scenarios where it's just stand heavy kick X2, L fiber, jump heavy punch, air dash, jump heavy punch, Gato, land with a button, stand heavy, into stand heavy kick, fiber again. And then the one thing you change there is you just do after fiber, slightly delay the jump light kick, slightly delay the jump heavy punch, and then you're just landing, restanding, jab, corner, like a combo all the way to the corner, and then you snap. You avoid doing the M Gato the second stream because sometimes some characters drop out of it, but it is an incredibly consistent happy birthday combo, rather than risking kind of what happens here, where you're catching her in the air, and then she falls out of the cat scratch at the end. Another thing I think you can do to save it here is stand medium kick. I think that pulls the ante down, so you don't have to worry about her falling out afterwards. Just a couple small things. I know the fortune is baby, but if you wanted to know, that is what I'd recommend doing. Okay, throw scaling, went for the mix. Yeah, overextended into DP assist, that happens. Here, as if you're Bella and you're not in block string, I really want you to think immediately as soon as you see bikes, Reflector. It's a great punish for pillar bikes. It will go through all of the bikes and you'll have nothing to worry about. If you're anything longer or closer than full screen, it will give you a combo afterwards. Yeah, just a thing to be thinking about. Reflector is always a friend in this matchup. The more you can discourage the Parasol from using projectiles, the easier time you'll have. Oh, we instantly jumped backwards. Yeah, let's see. Oh, unfortunate. And then overextending. Push block, don't quite get the safe cancel. What is this? Wow. Reflector, no! Do you know how to play Headless? Can't help. If you don't, it's understandable. Would recommend getting at least comfy-ish with it, so you don't go, oh crap, I got snapped, I don't have my head, panic mode immediately. But, all things. It comes with time. Just learning a new character. So, I don't think there's any world where if you're wanting to do round start 2LK, you need to dash first. It reaches pretty far already. This is just a pretty aggressive round start that can get caught by a couple things, as we see here. And one thing about this matchup in round starts, funnily enough, yes, Fortune's a rushdown character, but she has enough mobility and enough ways to get her on para garbage. You can afford to play this matchup really patiently and just slowly try and poke and prod at openings. You don't need to throw your face at her. I don't know if PME's been doing it recently. I think it was PME at Frosty Faustings this year, where you literally just see him standing like mid to full screen, using all of his mobility to just avoid getting a shot on him, and then slowly, like, in his case he has beam, so he waits until the coast is clear, then he calls beam, and then slowly works to approach. But Fortune has so many tools in her kit that she can kind of afford to take a really patient round start, not risk much, and then just go through neutral, avoiding everything. But it's a lot of time in this game, and Fortune has the mobility to really not be forced into... Yep. And so that's exactly what I was talking about earlier with... If you cancel into a fiber here, after the second hit, it will likely pick up both. But you let the third hit rock, which then shoves the characters away, so one of them is no longer getting hit by this fiber. Yep. Okay. So I went through the route like in whole earlier, so I'm not gonna say, but I would really encourage for happy birthday routes. I'm not even like so sure about this route for if you get a normal hit, but for happy birthday, I would probably encourage you to do the other one. It might not, this might be like max screen carry, but you're obviously not getting it quite right, and I'm not sure whether it's solely just the stand heavy kicks you're not doing right, or if there are other little things I'm missing. I don't do this route personally, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, but it's looking like it's really hard for you to keep it all together here. So either lab it a little if you want to keep on using it more, or possibly simplify it a little bit. It was close. Yep. Oh, this really hurts. Yeah. Good tech. How the hell did she hit the corner there? Good blocks, good tech. Unfortunate. Stupid. What? Good reflect. Oh, you could have done it again. Yeah, and now they're baiting the reflect a little bit. Not quite though. We're still in. Unfortunate drop yet again. Light kick, you're in. Yeah. Probably don't need to tell you, but that incoming is really sketchy because it's very not safe on block. Oh, up for the fortune or the annual point. Yep. So this matchup is so scary for this particular reason. At this range, she can just jump at you and get you. You are not safe at this distance. Your air buttons take so long to come out, especially jump medium punch. Mixed, it's scaled, so they're probably going to need one more mix. Good blocks, good push block. For the earth throw, how do we navigate this neutral? Avoiding knockouts. Good fast fall. I think that's what you did, right? Overextended there. So, do we unfly? We do. One thing to really be considering here, just alpha counter to either of your other characters. Gets your pain wheel out, keeps you safe. Especially if you have fiber for fortune, you just then get to immediately run at her. You might even get a punish, because this has so much recovery. Yeah. Things to be thinking about. You're looking for ways to get the pain wheel out, and they just gifted you one. Other than that, I was gonna say, at this distance, she can't really do much to actually full screen convert off of a punish for you just going into fortune. You could straight up just raw tag to fortune, and they'd have to be reacting pretty quickly to just dash at you and counter hit you. Okay, we run kick assist. Question answered. Not fiber. But you, I mean, you can still alpha counter and cancel it into fiber. Good mash. Headless for Oki. Oh, messed it up slightly. Right. Really scaled starter. Want to see a reset immediately. You went for it and then just got pressed on. Yep. And next. And it's time for the belly yet again. This will not kill. But not a record. That will, though. We noticed all the last hits were counter hits. Okay, we went for a burst. Not out of place, a Bella would really be mashing. Bikes. Oh, they missed it. Does level 3 not kill here? Oh no! You were right. You had it. It didn't matter, but I the level 3 I don't understand why you say you're mad about that set. Okay. So what's it called? What was I gonna say? I had a couple of things I want to say, and I don't know which route I was going. In that situation, especially because you were at 5 bars already, I would have honestly loved for you to just do a route that cashes out into level 3, maybe if you needed to, level 3, level 1, and just kills the Parasol and then forces an incoming, because incoming will always be in your favor. You force them to guess immediately, and then afterwards, if you get the hit, I think you had enough damage for 2 strings and super to kill. Personally, how I think I would have tried to do it. The ending, online net play, stress, whatever it was, it happens. It definitely sticks in your head and it's hard to let go, but that's kind of sometime you just gotta go, it happens. Shit happens. But outside of that, for talking about improving your game sense, I don't know if this was your first time or one of your first times playing Razorker. I will tell you this from, like, down the grapevine, as we saw in that last game especially, they do not stop pressing buttons. So trying to think of burst baits while they're on the ground, like most of the time they were mashing something, they were on the ground. Because if you're doing the full undizzy, like basically throw burst mix, they're just gonna hold that because anything you do after is gonna be very minimal damage. That is like one of the first things a lot of people who press a lot learn to stop pressing on. And so how to bait mashes better is you're trying to think of what would make them actually think they're in danger. So for me personally, and this is kind of coming from the Parasol side of things, it's like, where do I think they're going to be bursting? Well, sometimes they're just literally churning the stick, hoping for you to drop. So if you can just do a combo into a burst bait, which I don't know how easily your characters can do, you could just catch them and then get a free counter hit afterwards, just in the middle of a combo, because they were betting on a drop. You can set up something that looks like mix, and then just not choose an option. And so that by that I mean you can literally just stand there and hold down back and watch the Bella hang herself by dynamoing in your face. Although they do have an Annie level 3 behind it, so things to be keeping in mind. Annie or Para level 3 can both kind of keep them safe, so need to weigh that in. You can empty hop, which is kind of the same as down backing, but it really makes them think, oh, they're gonna press a button. Or empty hop plus assist as well. And then other burst baits where it's like, instead of doing launcher into full IPS things at the end, if you have any strings that can like put them in hit stun for long enough, and if they're tall enough, you just up back, press a button as you're up backing, and so it catches them standing, triggers IPS. They're pressing there, and then you dash back in and get the combo. Yada yada yada. There's a couple more of those things to be thinking about for dealing with a person who presses a lot, but does it at least from like somewhat smartly, and they're not just autopilot, like button mashing, basically. Other than that, talked about round start a little bit for Fortune. You could have definitely afforded to be a little bit more patient. You don't need to close down the space that hard. Again, I'd recommend watching PME. He's a very patient player, although, again, asterisk, he has Beam behind him to kind of do what he wants for a couple seconds. Yeah, and it's not even necessarily learning more burst baits. It kind of is, but it's just thinking about what they're looking for that might make them mash. Because what you were doing again is like, I mean, for lack of a better term, it's like baby's first burst bait. It's the thing people first learn and the thing people first learn to look out for and not press on. And so it's kind of just against the much more advanced players, it's not going to do much. Talked about the fortune routing a little bit, but she's a newer addition again. You're working on her more, so it happens. I give my suggestions. You can take them or leave them, because honestly, if you get that route consistent, it might be better corner carry. Yada yada yada. Look, and it looks like you were confident in trying to at least set up Headless Oki, which is good. Oh, about that actually, because you did it close-ish to mid-screen. One thing you can do, instead of trying to go for like the full bleed setup where you dash up and stand heavy kick and then do like Suki cancels to keep yourself safe jump, all that sort of stuff, you can also just leave the head behind them, just dash at them and up forward, and then get a left-right with the head. A very non-committal left-right. There's stuff like that you can also do. You don't always have to go for the exact same setup. And sometimes mid-screen, it's a lot easier to do one than the other. Well, mid-screen it is a lot easier to do those because the full bleed safe jump setups are all for the corner, yada yada yada. And then the one final thing I think I saw a lot was just overextending into the defensive assists. And so that was kind of just pressing a little bit too much when there was an Annie coming out or when there was a lock and load coming out. And this kind of ties back a little bit into you can play a little bit more patient. When you're in range, you don't necessarily need to actually press something to force them to block. Sometimes it's nice, and also you can recover quickly enough to then deal with the assist, or to block the assist, but then you're also negative, or minus negative. I'm sorry, but you can run in and then like neutral hop, let them run away, call their assist, and then you can try and counter call their assist because you know they're going to use it to help with their defense, as well as run at them and throw them. They were down backing and calling assist a lot. What is going on with my computer? What was that? Never mind. Yeah, so you can run up, throw them, deals with down back assist all really well, and then yeah, try and bait out an assist by running at them and then just stalling for a little bit of time, putting their assist on cooldown, hit it with either your point or counter call it. Counter calling Annie DP is kind of hard because she's in the air most of the time. But it can be done, and you can also just hit her while she's in the air. It's probably a little easier to do. And then it's your turn, with your assist behind you, to do things. The meter will come. Fortune, just by moving, builds meter, and then she gets a hit and builds a bar per combo. It'll get there. And you're also still feeling out the trio, so you're learning. Again, at the end of the day, it was a good experience. You learned specifically the sort of things Razorker likes to do: cough, cough, press everywhere, and it's logged for mental notes later. Then, I think that's about all I have to say for that. If you have any further questions, please just yell at me, and I'll see if I remember enough to answer them, or I can go back and watch after and address them.